use case on Experience Cloud. So firstly, I'll be introducing with what Experience Cloud is, would brief about its advantages. Then our primary focus for this session is going to be the use case that we are currently working on, and would then demo it of whatever we have done till now, and then would go through the actual implementation. How have we actually implemented according to our client's requirement? So let's start with it. What is Experience Cloud? It's a beautifully branded digital experience connected to your CRM and makes it easier to create the experiences, engage customers, and empower partners. So basically, if you want to involve end users or external customers to your business, or they should be able to see their records according to their need or their specific thing. So at that point of time, we opt with Experience Cloud. If we move on with its advantages, then it gives you multiple experiences for your specific needs. We can go ahead and integrate with third party. Undoubtedly, we can provide the personalized experiences. You can use your themes, your branding sets, and personalize it the way we want it. And undoubtedly, you are going to expand your business because you are going to involve your external users and users, customers. Okay, so as I already told, that our primary focus of this presentation is going to be the use case. So we have a client named Arabella, for which me and Abhinav is the architect, we are working, and they have this requirement. So suppose we have a user, and that user have purchased 3 different stock or funds in their term. And user B has purchased 2 different funds or 2 different stock. So only those records should be visible to user A, which he has purchased it. And if he clicks on any of his stock, so he should get directed or redirected to that page, which should just show records relevant to the selected stock. Or it should also change the branding experience, the look and feel. So let me just go ahead and explain it in more layman terms. Suppose I have purchased 2 stock. I have purchased a stock of SBI and Kotak Mahindra. And if I log in as an end user, I see I'm giving an option to select one of it. As soon as I click on any of it, I get redirected to a page where everything, like suppose I clicked on Kotak Mahindra. So everything related to Kotak Mahindra is displayed over there. The branding set, the theme, and the records that are displayed, like the what payments I have made, how much units is allocated to me, the graph, what's the exact market value, everything just related to Kotak Mahindra is displayed in front of me, and only those things that's related to me, nothing else. So this is what the actual requirement was, and there were many tweaks and filtration over there. Now the question comes, why we actually opted for Experience Cloud, or why we went with it, and why have we actually provided this implementation? Because if we go in the depth and technicality of Experience Cloud, so it itself provides a wonderful experience for users, because it do provide a very good sharing architecture. We have many licenses which can be used, which manages everything. But the reason that we are providing this mid-layer architecture, we can say, is because of our clients' requirement. The way they wanted the data to be displayed in front of users were pretty awkward, I could say, because for every fund or every stock, all the portals were different. They were not interlinked with any of it. Even users having the same licenses or the same record sharing thing It's like few users with everything having same, but still one of the user will need to see some other reports dashboards, but other user will require to see some other thing. Then we also need have had this branded experience or the UI change thing as well. Plus the record visibility or the sharing of records. There were many filtration that were required, as I already told. It was not like that, okay, just this user, these many records are linked and let's share it out. It was not like that. There were many filtration that were required according to each records, and all the sharing in those sharing logics, we implemented it via Apex, because we had that filtration and their business perspective thing. So before moving forward, let me just go ahead and show you what exactly we wanted to provide to our customers or clients. So this is the first login page. As soon as a user comes up, like provide the URL, ends up into this page where one have to give the username and password. As soon as we give username and password and log in, so the second page that comes in front of me would be an opportunity to select my fund, my stock. Like as I told, that suppose I am linked with two of them, so only two of them will come in front of me, nothing else. And I would get an opportunity over here to select the one that I want to view. So suppose in this case, I go ahead and select Hopewell. Okay, just a second. Okay, so as I told that we are getting two funds as soon as I select any of it. So now you can see that the branding set, the first thing that we should notice is the branding set. The themes, although it's pretty simple, it's getting changed. The records that we are able to see it over here is just related to Hopewell. All the records in all the tabs are just related to Hopewell. So point one, log in. Point two, select your fund, and you are going to land up on that page which you have selected just with your records and your branding experience. And if I want to go ahead and change my fund and like select some other fund, so I can go ahead, select a new fund. And now you can see the branding is changed. The slight difference in themes will be changed. And even the records here will be changed. Now the records that we are able to see is just related to new venture fund or the India fund. So this is what the actual requirement was. And there are many, as I already told, that there are many other things that were needed, like for the reports, dashboards, and the record visibility, which records are going to get visible to which users. And that was not possible for us to just go with the standard things. So therefore, we opted for Experience Cloud and provided this implementation. Now, the next thing that comes, so this was the demo of what we did. And now the question should come that how are we actually saving the data or the records in Salesforce? So I would say that we are saving it in a very simplified manner. We have an object, and in that object, we are having everything, irrespective of user, irrespective of fund. So if we see over here, like if we talk about payment agreements object, it's related to payments, what payments you have made to which funds or which stocks. So one object for all the funds, irrespective of any user. So here in Salesforce, data that we are saving, the records that we are saving is in a very simplified manner. Same goes if we talk about some other object. So for other objects, like if we talk about disbursements, which they call it as it's like a chunks of payments. So this is how, again, same object, one object, different users, different funds in just one object. That's it. So this is how that we are saving data in our Salesforce. Now let's talk about the actual implementation, how we implemented it. Before moving forward, I'll just want to repeat one more thing, that we cannot show everything as part of this presentation because there are many specific business requirements that they have, and especially the sharing architecture, the branding sets, these and reports, dashboards, which were very intact and just related to what they wanted. So there are many things that we internally are doing, but just because of the time and everything, we'll just be presenting those things that is actually the basic architecture of our implementation. So the first and foremost thing was a creation of a junction object. We have a contact, we have an account, and we created a junction object name affiliation. So which contacts are affiliated to which account was presented with the help of this object. The reason that we did it, because it's not like that one user is connected to, like, it was not like one to many or one to one relation. The relation was many to many relationship. So therefore we opted this junction object concept. Like if we come over here, and the user that just now I logged in, this one project director, that time we were able to see two funds, two stocks. And the reason why, because the affiliation, the junction object that we created over here were the two records we are having over here. Suppose if we have, let's take an example of some other user, this test mail approver. And if we go down and see the affiliated record for this user, it's just one. I'll go ahead and log in. So I should only be able to see one of it, just the Hopewell. And if I want to change also, suppose if I go ahead and change the funds, so I won't be able to do it because only one affiliation could be found for this user. So this is the reason that we went for junction object. The next thing that we did was to create a custom field on user object. So why this field was needed? Because we wanted to keep a track of which fund or which stock user is selecting. Suppose a user selected NVF. So NVF value should come here and get updated to this field. Suppose a user selected some different fund. They selected Hopewell. So as soon as the user clicks over there, we are dynamically changing this value. This value is getting updated as soon as we are clicking on any of the respected fund. And why we are doing it so? Because we want to keep something centralized. We want to keep a track of it, that, okay, this is how the current user is and this is how it is going to get logged in to this thing. So now and everything else that we have built up, it's just because of this custom field. We are using this custom field at most of the places, and we are able to detect that, okay, the current login user fund selection is this. Let's go ahead and create everything just related to this particular fund. Okay, so the next thing that we did was the creation of branding sets and audiences. So firstly, what is branding sets? The brand name that you can see it over here, like in this case, it's Hopewell. For some other fund, it's going to be something else. How are we able to see this thing? It's because first thing that we did was to create audiences. Why we created audiences? Why we did it so? Because for each users, it should be like, okay, so this user, its current selection for portal or current fund selection is Hopewell. Let's go ahead and assign that user or make that user part of this audience. Like if we talk about staff Hopewell, so this is the audience, and the user is going to get part or become part of this particular audience is when the user fund selection for portals becomes HPWN. Same goes with other funds as well. Like if they select NVF or if they select North Fund, so again, they become part of this audiences. How are we using these audiences? Like I'll tell you one example for branding sets. If we talk about our branding sets, so here So as I already told, the branding sets are the brand names. Okay. So here what we are doing, we have created different branding sets for each of the fund or each of the stock. And this is how we have created, and what we are doing, we are assigning each of them to one of the audiences. So we created one branding set like North Fund and assigned this branding set to this audience. Now just think like that. User clicks on what fund they want to land up with. This field that we have created, fund selection for portal, gets updated. This user becomes part of this audiences, and of course branding sets will be same, or it will get changed according to what user has been part of. So this is how we are managing the branding sets and theme, I would say. Okay, so now the last thing that we came up with, the records. So let's think like that. I have purchased 2 stocks. So for me, initially only when as soon as I purchase, everything related to just those 2 stocks get shared with me. Okay. Okay, I can see the branding sets also. Now, how are we seeing just the records related to the selected fund or the selected stock? The reason is because of this custom fantastic list view. How have we, so firstly, the prerequisite to use it. So it's just like a normal list view, the list views that we have it in Salesforce. So what we'll have to do it over here. Let's come in any of the object. After landing up on the object, we'll have to create the list views over here, different list views, whatever we want to display. One thing that we need to keep in mind is the API name. So the former or the latter part of the API name should be same for all the funds. The fluctuating thing should be just the fund names. Like here you can see paid and cancelled and just the hopeful. So this is the label name, but the API name is same, like paid and cancelled, paid and cancelled, paid and cancelled. The fluctuating thing that we can see it over here is just the fund names. And for each list, what we are doing is we are filtering it over here for this object, like equals NVF, or if we have something else, like we have Hopewell, so we'll be doing equals Hopewell. So in our Salesforce org only itself, we are going to make the list views, and then we'll come over here in our Experience Cloud, drag and drop our component, and we can go ahead, pass the API name of our object, pass the list name, and other number of rows, search bar, if you have other parameters to get used of. But the major thing is the list name. So here the list name, like as I told, the initial API name or the latter part should be same, just the fluctuation should be in fund names. So as it is, we'll be putting it, and instead of the name of the fund, what we are doing, we are providing the static value over here, like that's in braces FUND. And internally, what we are doing is, in our JS, what we are doing, as soon as this page is getting loaded, what is happening, it's fetching the current user fund selection. Again, that field that we created to keep a track of the selected fund. We'll get the value of the current user selected fund. We will set the value, like here we are, although we are saving the mnemonics of the fund, we'll just convert it into its full name. We'll set it, and the list name gets updated, and that would be shown over here. So like if we have HPWL or Hopewell, so the list name gets updated to Hopewell from the current user fund selection, and only that list view is showed up over here. So this is how we did the implementation of it. Firstly, created a junction object that is going to manage many-to-many relationships. Then we went ahead and created a custom field that's going to keep a track of the selected fund. Then we created different branding experiences and audiences to keep like switching between different brands. And then we created the fantastic list view, which is actually managing that which list views to be shown up to the end users. So this was pretty much about it. There are many more things and we are still working on it. It's not yet completed yet. We are still working on many of the things, and that's the reason that I haven't provided advantages and disadvantages, because it's not completed yet. And most probably within 2-3 months, this is going to get live and everything will be completed. And then finally, I would go ahead and take one more session on this and would demonstrate rest of the things which actually we are implementing it. So yeah, that's pretty much for this session.